and welcome to another edition of Only in Illinois, your weekly video recap from Reboot, Illinois. I'm Madeleine Doubek here with Matt Dietrich, and this week in the race for Illinois governor, it was all about ethics. We had both men, Bruce Rauner, the Republican, and the Democratic incumbent governor, Pat Quinn, trading charges, accusing the other of not being particularly ethical. Bruce Rauner brought out an ad featuring, he's back, Rod Blagojevich for the first time, and certainly probably not the last time we'll see that come up. Obviously, Pat Quinn was Rod Blagojevich's lieutenant governor.
Although the two of them really didn't speak.
Correct, but he'll be tagged with it no matter what, as is happening now, and we've seen the governor's face a few times in Rauner campaign materials this week. On the other side, Pat Quinn has a new ad out accusing Bruce Rauner of investing in a company in Georgia that ended up having to pay $13 million to the federal government as a settlement for alleged Medicare fraud. They never admitted any guilt, but they did make that settlement payment, and Bruce Rauner, as he has said repeatedly when these charges come up about his business, that as soon as they knew there was a problem, they tried to do something about it.
Mm-hmm.
So all that is flying around this week, and then we also had a few new developments come up outside the campaign.
A few new developments, including a big one regarding the Neighborhood Recovery Initiative, which is the controversial anti-violence program from right at the beginning of the election season in 2010. We found out this week that the Chicago U.S. Attorney's Office has requested emails and other information about the NRI program. So we already knew that the federal authorities from the Central District of Illinois were investigating this. Based in Springfield. Now we know that in the Northern District, based in Chicago, federal authorities are looking into it. And you also have the Legislative Audit Commission, which is state lawmakers. They've been doing their own investigation, which the Springfield federal authorities had asked them to postpone for 60 days.
Right.
So there's been more in that.
Until October.
And that all of this isn't very good news for the Quinn campaign.
Right, and he's also said this week that these subpoenas are going after people who may have received the grants,
Right.
not necessarily his administration. So we'll see whether that turns out to be the case or not.
Right, and on the heels of that, as that news was coming out, Bruce Rauner had another press conference in which he unveiled yet another part of his Bring Back Blueprint. This is all about ethics reform, and Bruce Rauner proposes a kind of a 12-point, as we joked about it in the office, we called it a 12-step program. Wean Illinois off of its corruption.
Its addiction to corruption.
And actually, you know, his some of his other blueprints have gotten pretty well picked apart because the numbers didn't add up, the math and the and the tax plan, and but this one is one where there's a lot of good reform ideas in it. Things like stopping the revolving door policy for lobbyists who leave the state legislature or state government and turn right back around and become a lobbyist, influencing the very people that they worked with the day before. He wants a one-year ban. Mm-hmm. That's been talked about for a long time. That would be a good reform if he can get it done as governor. Mm-hmm. And an issue that was very near and dear to our hearts, which is legislative redistricting reform. Right. That is one that will require a constitutional amendment. Didn't happen via citizen initiative this time around. You know, maybe having a governor who's a strong, staunch advocate of it and will push it, maybe it'll make some traction in the legislature. Still pretty daunting prospect in a heavily Democratic-controlled legislature. Why would they want to give up that power? Mm-hmm. But admirable anyway.
So despite the discussion of some important topics, ethics, the campaign seemed to take, in my mind, a decided turn toward even more caustic rhetoric between the two, and kind of a ratcheting up of the digging at each other.
Yeah, and we're seeing now, here we go, here comes, we're tying Quinn to Rod Blagojevich, and you have Quinn is tying Rauner to Medicare fraud.
Federal fraud, right?
And, so it's getting nastier and nastier.
And Rauner, quotable of the week, said that Quinn is not the bumbling fool he wants us all to think he is. That's some pretty tough language. All right, so that's it for this week's edition of Only in Illinois. We'll see you in the next edition, and thanks for watching.